I know the review is very late, but hey, better late than never is what I'm going to say at this point, because I do want to talk about this chapter because there's a lot of very important things that made me think, okay, I probably can't skip this review, especially with the reveal that Oma and Kuroki are, working together, and the significance of that, because this does sort of symbolize, at least in a sense, where Oma is in his journey to, get stronger. Because the chapter does start off with the connector giving pointers to Oma, and I think the pointers are very important because he basically says that, well, though Oma has room to grow, the only room he really has is optimizing what he already has. Basically, Oma can't learn new techniques or grow that much as a fighter at this point, at least when it comes to expanding his arsenal. There isn't really much there. That's what the connector is basically telling him. He's like, look, you probably can't get stronger by adding new techniques and stuff you can do at this point. His physique is probably reaching the best that it could get. It's getting similar to the connector's build. And so, because of all this stuff, the connector's basically like, hey, look, just focus on optimizing, focus on doing whatever you can do better. And it's very interesting that he goes to Kuroki for this, because we do know Kuroki is, of course, this optimal type of character. I've talked about him a lot at this point, especially in the video where I said he's probably the only person currently, although I think this might change. Currently, Kuroki is the best person because of just how much he can optimize the way in which he fights. Again, I'll talk about this small part that I had in that video where Agito, as he's losing, he's watching, Kuroki fight. He's like, man, this dude ain't even look like he's tired. He's like, what is this, bro? What is going on? And so, Oma fighting or training with him shows that, okay, he's at that stage of growth. And Kuroki's also at that stage of growth. In a sense, I would argue he's there as well. He's probably, optimizing, trying to get the most out of the thing that he, of course, knows. And it'll be interesting who gets much stronger off of doing this, because I'm pretty sure Oma and Kuroki, even though Kuroki's, stronger than Oma, I think most people would agree that Kuroki would probably beat Oma more often than not. I would say they're pretty much on the same playing field. And so how much they can grow during this apparently time of training to get closer to the connector will be very interesting, because now there is some chance that Oma might be the person who fights the connector, but we'll see. I say it's up in the air for the most part, because the Kengan Association have sort of recognized Lohan. Now what they will do with that information is going to be very interesting, because if they think they can play Lohan, it's going to be very interesting to see how that ultimately works out, because that could mean that Lohan could end up getting a lot more support than just, of course, Nico. Or he might even turn down their support, or maybe even give some of the Kengan Association fighters, whoever gets to fight Kuroki, some pointers as well. But I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself, because the second person Shen Wulong talks about and gives advice to is Koga, and he says something very important to Koga that I think, most people won't pay too much attention to, and that is the fact that he still has a lot more growth he can do, more than Oma, essentially. And this goes into, again, Koga's potential and his willingness to learn. I've talked about this a lot. I talked about it when I said, should, Koga learn the Nico style? I talked about all this stuff. And so, again, this is foreshadowing, hey, Koga, he has a lot more potential, he's working with. And he just needs to, the shortest path he can take right now is getting, physically stronger while working on his techniques, basically. He needs to get more power behind him. And I think this will be very important for the future because of, I think, one day Koga's stocks, his power is gonna jump to unbelievable levels. And it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, especially since now he's, working out and training with the other supernovas, and Ryuki as well. And so it's gonna be very interesting. I wish we could focus a bit more on that, because that to me is a lot more interesting than the Kuroki section, I'm gonna be honest. Because we don't really get much of the supernova, and seeing them train together, seeing what they exchange with people like Silva and all these boys, I think it would be very interesting. I hope we get to see the fruits of all of that later on, which we probably will. But the most interesting out of all of them is what he tells Ryuki, because Ryuki didn't necessarily participate, but Shen has seen Ryuki fight before, and so he should have a relatively good understanding of how strong Ryuki actually is. And he instead points him in the direction of inheriting the Long clan's, secret technique, Mukaku, whatever Mukaku's martial art was. And so the implications of this is that Ryuki still needs more in his kit. So his current issue, at least it has been hinted at for a long time really, is that he still needs a bit more in his kit. He still needs, because lately he's really only had like the Rakasha's palm. At least I hope that's how you say it. That's really all he has in his kit, besides like the dragon. I forgot what was the style actually called before the Nico style itself. I've completely forgotten its name, bro. That's kind of sad when I think about it. But it was Mukaku's martial art, and I think it's pretty bad, all things considered. When not even Mukaku is using it, it's trash. It. Like when he fought Oma, he didn't use it. When he fought the Connector, didn't use it. There's no way this martial arts is that good. There's no way. So I think it's gonna be very, very beneficial for Ryuki if he adds more to his kit. I think that the Connector has a very strong point there. He needs more. I say learn the Nico style as well. It's literally the improved version of whatever you're working with. Learn that as well, bro. At least add, like, Koga's right there. Just pick up some stuff from my man. Alright? But the Long clan, the Dragon clan's techniques is something that I think is very fitting for Ryuki, because of course he has the whole dragon epithets, or I don't know how you actually say that word, but he has that title of dragon in his name, somewhere there. So at least bro, have some dragon techniques or something. But that's really one of the bigger reveals in this chapter, and it comes with, of course, Matsudo, after they went back into the inside and, found out that, of course, Mukaku was indeed murdered by the Connector. And so I guess we'll wait and see to see if how long is it, how much time do these people have until it's time to actually fight the Connector. Because I don't think anyone can get that much stronger in like a week or so, maybe a month. We could see some growth, but to the point where they could, beat the Connector, or at least have a chance at beating the Connector, it's gonna be, I don't know about that. And so we'll see how things go on moving forward in terms of how everyone is training and that stuff. But yeah, that's the video. Late review, I know. But hey, if you like the review, if you like me talking about it, don't forget to like and sub, all that fun stuff. And until next time, take it easy. By the way, I'm going to be, hopefully I can do it this week, but there's a pretty big theory video that I'm going to be releasing, because I did make a huge theory video about the Connector, and I'm going to do it again, right? There's another one that I think is even crazier, and it at least makes more sense than the previous one. At least it depends on how you think about it. But yeah, a new theory is coming, so you can sub for that. And yeah, don't forget to like the video as well. Yeah, take it easy.